Hello and welcome to the Keri Faith on Purpose podcast. I am excited and honored to have, I feel like a long lost soul sister, Ashley Gonor is with us today. She is a transformational coach and she has her own podcast called Uncover Your Magic. And she is an advocate for empowering young adults and parents to raise a confident generation of up and coming, I would say, leaders and positive manifestors. We have so much in common. Thank you for being here with me today, Ashley.
Thank you so much. Talk about in common. It's so fun when you meet like-minded people and you see the path that they're on, and then you can connect like this on a podcast and talk and share it with the world. That is magic to me. So I'm so grateful to be here.
And I love that you said that it is magic. It's magical, even to the point of our podcast covers are like the same color and our what we teach and how we guide people is so similar. Almost it's crazy, I feel like. And you are originally or you live in a place where I grew up for probably 30 years. So you want to maybe just tell us where you are coming in from today?
Sure. I live in San Diego, right by your mom, right?
Yes, it was exactly where, I used to call home in San Diego, California. Have you always lived in San Diego?
I grew up in Seattle, so I'm from the Pacific Northwest, just north of you in Portland. Moved to San Diego when I was 20 and, lived here, finished San Diego State, and then went back to Seattle, did a business with my sister, worked with my dad at his company. He sold landscape equipment. He invented this machine. And so I helped him kind of like in this, what am I doing in my early 20s? Met somebody, went to Montana, lived there for 4 years, worked, ran my dad's business still. And then I thought, no, I need to come back to San Diego. Montana wasn't not for me. So packed my stuff, back to San Diego, found a job selling DSL filters. Don't ask me even what they are today, but it was like for me, like that was God saying, okay, this is where you're going to go. You're going to sell, I don't know what this is, but it'll land you in this place that you're going to meet these people. And at this job, I met this woman that opened my eyes to a lot of like like writing out your goals and, all the little, we'd even look at astrology, like our horoscopes and numerology, but she kind of opened my eyes to this stuff. And the company that I worked for wanted everyone to go to this conference or this seminar called PSI. And I kept thinking, I just love my weekends. I wasn't used to, having to go to a job. I was always like self-employed, with my dad working out of my house. So I had my dog and I thought, I just want to be home on the weekends. But I'd see all these people go to the seminar coming back and it was like, they act so happy and they're so like, what is going on? Have they drank some Kool-Aid? And then finally her and I went and I just thought, oh my gosh, this is like magic. And it just changed. That just was like the turning point, I think, for me to see that I can have and do and be anything. And we are so powerful and we limit ourselves so much. And it just opened my eyes and I continued on that journey, did all this. There's 3 different courses that they have up in the Bay Area. Finished all those, came back, quit my job, had no idea what I was going to do, but I knew that I wanted to make a difference, make people feel good, and fell into this. I wrote everything out. Like I said, I am doing all these things that I'm giving people this amazing feeling. I just didn't know what it was, but I knew I wanted my own business. So long story short, opened a spa with no money, bought a house with no money. It was when you could buy houses with no money down, like in the early 2000s. And this seminar kind of opened my eyes to the possibilities of manifesting and learning that
So
when your vibration is high and you're happy, that is when it comes.
Ooh, I love that. So what does PSI stand for, or who was the mind behind that
Yes.
seminar?
So it's Jane Wilhite was the Wilhite couple. It's people synergistically involved. And it's kind of it's been there for so many years. I mean, when I went up there to the ranch, you're jumping off the trapeze, you're doing all those kind of things, doing the mountain climb. It's all that kind of thing. But learning your vibration, you'll learn all these things that we teach now, and it's all like all those things that in my mind that I didn't have until I was probably, in my late 20s or 30. And, now fast forward 22 years that I've been able to use those tools to create this life. And it's just been like, even finding my husband, I created him, but it's just been an amazing journey. And I feel like, when you learn those tools to manifest and to create a life that that you can have, because you can have anything, and we're all here to live on this planet to grow and expand and learn and grow. And if you're not growing, you're dying, right?
Exactly. That's what I think I say at the intro of this podcast, that we're all just here to learn, grow, and evolve together. And the sense of how you learned manifesting was at a seminar over the weekend, or no, even before that, was that you just met one person that opened up your eyes, right? And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like we all just, when we're not searching for that guide, is usually when that guide arrives to us. And the way we have come together and started our podcasting journeys in 2020 was through the same guide, right? Michelle
Mm-hmm.
Sorrow. So shout out to Michelle Sorrow for actually, I would say, just like watering that seed within us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We
Totally.
don't know where we're going to end up, but when you just stay open to anything and everything is when we can start following and paying attention to that intuition. I think
Right.
that intuition is something that when we make a decision and it doesn't really make sense logically, but something feels right in our bodies,
Mm-hmm.
that's when we have to say yes.
Right. And that's really the podcast was that for me, for sure. A lot of things in your life that you don't know how to do it, and you just know why, or you just have that feeling that is just telling you in your heart that this is really something. And so many people don't take that as a lead and, follow through and just try. If the fear gets in the way and they're so afraid to get through that fear. And once you figure out how to get through that fear, even just that one time, the second time it comes, because it's going to come up again and again, you just kind of gnaw away at that feeling of like, well, I did it that time, and so I think in my life, when I've, hit that fear and just like, like Tony Robbins, like kick through the door kind of thing, just go. And once you do that, it gets so much easier. And you just it gives you this like, the confidence that, I did it that time, and what if it doesn't work, then, right?
Right. So how would you say if someone's listening and they have fear to maybe do something, but their head's like, I can't do that. For me, it was like doing the cold shower thing. I kept telling myself, I don't do cold showers. I
Right.
don't do cold water. And I caught myself this year saying, okay, that is really a limit that I'm putting on myself. So I just have to change my words and say, and I started doing the cold shower thing. Yes, it's only like 60 seconds, but it's still cold water. And I've tricked myself by saying when it's gushing over my body, like, oh, I love this cold water. I love this cold water. It's just like a trick that I must play with myself,
Right.
with the power of my words. So, how would you describe how to push through that door if there's any like tactical tip for someone?
Well, I just think, your words that you say to yourself are so powerful. Thoughts become things. Thoughts are, you create your own reality through your thoughts. You think what, 60, 70 thoughts, 70,000, 170,000 thoughts a day, and they're all the same almost every day. You repeat the same thing. And when you become aware of your thoughts and you can change them, just like you did in the shower, you know, if it's all I always used to say, because when I opened my business, when I opened the day spa, I didn't have a clue. And I just kept saying, fake it till you make it. I just get in there and just go, kind of like the podcast,
Mm.
fake it till you make it. I really don't know how to do this, but I'm just going to go through it. And if you start shifting that and being aware of your thoughts, first of all, and just in doing that, like tricking your brain and just saying, I am, I am this powerful person, or I am this podcaster, or, I am a business owner, and just start really feeling it. And it's all about the feeling, right? To feel
Mm-hmm.
it and know what it feels like to be that. And if you have to fake it for a while until it becomes reality, then do. I'm all about faking it. I'm all about, faking yourself and your brain to believing that, because you can do that in anything.
Right. That's exactly how I have manifested, I feel like, because our identity is the number one driver of all human behavior. So if you're focused on like, oh my gosh, this door is going to be so heavy to kick down, right? It's just like
Mhm.
breaking a board with your hand. If you focus on how hard it's going to be hard. But if you just say, I can do this, I can do this. And even though you might not think you can, just trick yourself until until you're doing it.
Right.
Just like the podcast or being a business owner.
Right.
You're not really supposed to know the how.
No.
So do you teach, how do you teach the idea of manifestation? Because I know that, we all live the idea of manifestation every day, every minute, every thought that we have. But if you have like a strategy to actually teach this idea of manifestation, or what is your definition of it?
Yeah. I do a few things, but I'm trying to think. So, I teach my girls, I try to teach them that they can manifest anything. You create your own reality every day. Like if there's something wrong, well, what did you do? You created that,
Mm,
ownership of
yes.
your life, and teaching that at an early age is so important to me.
And how
But
old are your daughters, if you don't mind?
the little one's just turned 12, and Paige is 14. Presley and
Okay.
Paige is 14. Um, so there's the fun way so if I was going to teach the girls manifesting, I taught them like that reticular activating system in your brain, so we always play a game where we say, like, so for an example, I had a car during the quarantine that became a lemon. And I said to the girls, what if I get a new car? And it was only 2 years old. And Paige said, I said, what kind of car would you think we would get? What car? They said a white Range Rover with white interior. And I was like,
Mm.
whoa, really? And so I said, okay, let's play a game. Every time we got in the car, we'd go find the white Range Rovers with white interior. We would go, and there they are. They're everywhere, Mom. I mean, we'd see like 15 just going to the store, because that's like whatever
Yeah,
you're
I
looking
have
for, like
goosebumps everywhere
whatever,
because I'm
right?
sure you didn't see them before, or
No.
maybe very, very rarely, right?
So you just create, it's a game. I could even say, whatever it is. So we do that too on the way to school. Like, well, I just want to show them law of attraction, that the focus, where your focus goes, that, all the energy goes there. So when you think of something, so anyway, long story short, I have a white Range Rover with white interior. Thank you. We did it.
Yay.
And so I would never have imagined, but they said, and and it almost was like a game, to where I wanted to teach them as a mom that, okay, if that's really what you think we're going to create, we're going to create. I'm show you how easy it is. So here we go. Then I said, let's go get it. There it was. We
Mm.
manifested that. You can do that with anything. So now
Wow.
that, I hope in their mind, as a 12 and a 14-year-old will say, I remember when my mom, when she was, when I was young growing up, she taught us how to manifest. And she showed me in like 4 weeks how to create this lemon car and make it into a white Range Rover and with white interior. And it was so fun. And I just love that.
That is a story that's going to stay with them forever. And such an impressionable age, I would say, is 12 and 14, because there's so many challenges in teenage years, always, but especially now during this new era that we've never had to navigate before, right? And that kids can just go into the cycle of negative thinking very easily because
Mhm.
our brains are wired that way. And to just have that impression and a model this way of being, which is manifesting, because we're always manifesting. That's what I don't think people really realize. Like, even if you're is stuck in a bad place, depressed or anxious or worried or isolated, you're manifesting
Right.
more of that. So
Exactly.
it's just as easy to manifest the good as we are actually manifesting bad things happening
Right.
in our lives.
Like Abraham Hicks, I follow her, and she says it's just as easy to create a button as it is a mansion, right, or a castle. And so when you think of it that way, you're like, what do you want in life? You can have either one. Which one do you want? Decide what you want to create. And the teaching of the manifestation or manifesting is so important is your vibration. I'm a big vibration person because I'm a morning person. And so I wake up early, I do my gratitude, that raises my vibration. I go on my run, I do my, all my thinking, I do my meditation before, and, I'm raising the vibration up. So then when you're home and ready to start the day, it's like, okay, I'm ready, bring it on. And now your blinders are off, your head is up, it's not down, and you're going to see the magic. And that's when you see those intuition feelings or those little signs that were always there. They've
Mm-hmm.
always there, just like the white Range Rovers, right? They've always been there, but you don't see them because your vibration and you're low. But to
Wow.
start your vibration high in the morning like that, and to teach your kids that, I think, I mean, they could start with, oh, I'm so tired, the teenagers, this grumpy. I'm like, oh no, that's not even allowed in this house. Like, you better go rewind and go back up to bed, and we'll start it again. Because why would you do that to yourself in your day? Because that's just like showing them like if they're in a bad mood, and then they start realizing when I teach them, when you start low, then it's just going to almost catapult to that way. You just keep creating this bad negative things because your energy is so low and your vibration is down. So, and then they'll say, Mom, remember we started the day bad? Well, this went bad and this. I go, see? But to have
Yes.
an awareness that you are in charge of that. And that's just like you're creating your own reality, and that's how you create it. So don't you want to create it when you're on a high vibration, and then all the magic comes, you can manifest anything like that.
So, what does your gratitude practice look like? I'm
Uh,
curious because I am a huge, follower of the research in gratitude and doing my own daily gratitude practice, but I like to hear other people's strategies.
yes, I love it. I'm all about gratitude. The girls have had a gratitude journal since they could write.
Uh-huh.
And I do too. And I just finished that magic book by Rhonda Byrne, that
Mm.
28-day. Have you ever done that?
I haven't read that
Oh
book.
my gosh. And I highly recommend it. It takes your gratitude. You think you're grateful to the highest level of being grateful. And
What's
you're
the name
like,
of the book so I can add it
it's
in the show
called
notes?
Magic. The Secret, the lady that wrote The Secret, Rhonda Byrne.
Okay.
It's called Magic. But I did it with a friend, and by like day 7, she said, "Oh my gosh, I'm never been so happy." I said, "I know." And it's where we were like realizing we both were so on this high, but you have to write every day 10 different things. So I used to write 5 things every morning, and I'd try to be really grateful. And what I teach the kids are, the gratitude is how you feel. It's yesterday, not your house or your school. It's, gosh, um when my mom and I went on that bike ride, it just made me feel so, whatever, healthy. Or, I
Mm.
loved spending that time with my mom when we were watching a movie together. I just felt made me feel so loved. And so you go into those feelings of those moments of your day before and write them down. And then you feel it and you're like, oh, so it's the feeling that takes your vibration up. You can say till you're blue in the face the things that you're grateful for, but there has to be a feeling in it, because the feeling is what projects your energy to that next level. So you're open and you're more aligned to more things to see that are grateful. I mean, you can sit there and write those 10 things every day for that book, for that 28 days. And you're like, oh my gosh, my pencil, or, the whatever, you're like the light that I'm looking at, you just start searching, but then it opens your eyes to, oh my gosh, there's so much to be grateful for.
Yeah,
Nothing's
it's a positive slippery slope, because I do the same technique. No, I don't do the same technique, but I do write down at least 10 things that I'm grateful for every day, and I get to 20 very quickly when I don't realize it. But I never thought about actually doing the reflection on the previous day and writing about the feelings of the good things that happened the day before. So that's definitely something that I'll add to my practice. And this episode is kicking off in January of 2021. So if the listeners don't have a gratitude practice, I'm definitely going to add the book Magic to the show notes and just pick up a gratitude practice. When I did a few years ago, like you said, it totally transformed my vibrational state, and a lot of good things started flooding to me.
so true. I just feel like if people just got that one tool, and I don't care if you remember anything else, it will change your life. It'll change the way you see your life and how it unfolds. You'll see this beauty of, it doesn't have to be, you could look at 2020 for an example. Some people are going to go, oh my gosh, the terrible thing is the 2020, then I wake up to your Facebook message today of like, look at what, like that you took 2020 and took it to the next degree, right?
Well, there's a lot of bad things that happen out of 2020. And I think in retrospect, as the months go by and it falls farther away from us, we have the choice of how did that year really negatively affect me, or how did it positively affect me? So it's really important, I think, even now that we put 2020 behind us, to still focus on all the good that has come out of the year, because it's like people are going to have, I feel like, PTSD, not to even laugh about it, but that people are going to have negative associations with the year. But we can also be empowered to have positive associations with the year through
Right.
something like a gratitude practice.
Totally. And I think when, you look at something, this was so, everybody had to go through it, every single person in this world, no one was singled out. And to have a universe go through something so it's transformed everybody's life,
Mm-hmm.
And I think the choice thinking of like today's the 31st, so the last day of the year, and, looking at, we have 365 days in a year. And, that's really not that much. And you know how fast it goes. This year flew by. And I don't even
Yeah,
know,
even
like,
having an extra day that we
oh, that's
in
right.
2020, but it did. It just
You're
flew by.
right. 366 leap year. Anyway, I just feel like you have a choice every day. And, if you can live in gratitude and really focus on the good and just really, feel that feeling of, gosh, look at our life. Like, just go outside and look around you, look what you've chosen to come here and learn that, be on this planet and love and give and serve and, grow and, look at the family or the friends and look at your body and you're healthy and, be so grateful, and that just is a game changer to me for sure.
It is. I know I've done several episodes of just talking about gratitude, but it's something that I'll never get sick of sharing and talking about, because it's a game changer for anything and everything. And I want to move into and talk with you about this idea of alignment, which is very much associated with, I would say, gratitude and manifesting. But does, in your own words, what does it mean to really live in alignment?
Well, it's when your vibration is high. You've set your intentions for the day, right? You've done everything in your, like, the start of your day is so important. The rituals in the morning are just where you get your alignment and being happy, finding something that makes you happy. My happy thing is to get up and do my, little routine of gratitude, and then go running. And that's when I do have that's where I raise my vibration and get into an alignment. And I really feel alignment is that's the level of when you're starting to allow things into your life, all the good.
Mm,
And I mean, when you're not, I'm a good sense of somebody, like if I'm with them and I don't feel like their vibration or their alignment's right, and I can see them going down this, the going down,
mhm.
and I've, some of the people, what I've learned, this podcast has been so fun meeting people, but I learned from one of my guests is to embrace the highs as much as the lows, because when you embrace the lows, that's when you get to the highs faster, but you're still embracing the lows because there's so many lessons in that and
Mm,
you're going to grow from that. But if you get down to the lows and you're not embracing it, then you're going to be stuck there and you're
mm.
going to keep there's no alignment in that scenario, right? But to get back up into alignment is when you embrace the lows and then you gradually get up, and that's just part of life. It's all contrast, right? We
Yes,
didn't come here to live in this jolly old, every day's, a bed of roses and it's perfect. We came here to learn contrast or it would be boring. So to learn and to embrace the lows, even when you're not in alignment. I mean, we're all human. We're not going to be in this perfect vibration alignment every single day. So if you acknowledge that, gosh, like, Ashley, you need to change it up, like you're way down. So let's bring it up, but to acknowledge it and go, okay, I'm at the bottom here. I'm going to embrace it and go, okay, what am I learning? Like, how did I get here? And then to go back and see from the alignment area that I was at the top, and how I trailed down to this part. Okay, then next time I'll be more aware of those thoughts that I was thinking, something that triggered me. It could have been my husband saying something that triggered me, or the kids, and oh my gosh, it was a mess, or something was. But to be aware of your triggers and to be so like, when you start to see your energy go down, go, okay, I'm not, that's not where the magic is, but to just really embrace those. Cause I think that's important for people that everyone has lows, and it's so important to
exactly.
embrace that.
We have to feel the lows in order to feel the highs, I feel like. And, people sometimes question, well, yeah, I can't be happy all the time. Well, it's true. We can't be happy all the time, but we can choose to be happy
Mm-hmm.
in the moment of feeling down through the use of gratitude, I would feel like,
Right. For
and
sure.
daily practices and just intentions and affirmations. So, but what you said is that awareness key. We can't realize our vibrational state unless we're in a state of awareness and observation.
Right.
And so that's really, I feel like, the beginning of all of it. If someone's like, well, what does this whole vibrational state mean? Or choosing to be in higher alignment, it's like, just start being aware.
Mm-hmm. Very much. And it's the awareness is so much uh more brighter when you are like when you're on that high flying disc, like Abraham says, and when you've set your intention in the morning and you've put all your all the things that you think could happen that day, you don't even go there. You just think of, okay, I'm enjoying the moment, being in the present. I mean, living in the now. I tell the girls and my group of kids that I'm helping, they can, if you can look at today as a present, this is a gift. And this is all we get. This is it. There's not tomorrow, there's not yesterday. This is right now. And if you really can do that and to be in that moment, to know that, wow, I'm so grateful for this moment. You know, I'm never going to get this back. I'm not going to get this one time with you sitting here. This is gone. We'll just
It's
get to
so
listen to it.
precious.
Mm-hmm.
Just you talking about being in alignment and talking about happy, like I have this flush of like sensations in my heart. So you obviously are really touching my heart chakra, and I feel your
Oh,
energy that you just are so calming, and just being in your presence is like a
oh, you're
gift.
so
I can
sweet.
feel that you're radiating that high vibrational state. This is a question. So thank you. And thank you for this,
Well,
the
thank
present
you.
moment and being here with me and the listeners. I typically ask all my listeners this question, and you had brought it up about happiness. What is, and you probably already have answered it, but I'm going to ask you again, what is your definition of happiness?
Oh, wow. Okay. Happiness. I think it's gratitude. I mean, for sure, that's going to make you happy. And I think a giving heart and it's giving, I think is what brings me happiness. And what I would always want to teach my girls what to do is have a giving heart. And when you do, nothing of the word happy, I don't think could be a more what you're going to gain from giving, and I think when you're happy, that everything comes, it's just you're in a state of allowing of this beautiful life. And I think I use the word happy a lot, and I always say it's get to happy, and
Right.
that's
Well,
when.
it's interesting because most people that I have asked that question to on this podcast haven't they haven't said your response, which is truly, I believe, where ultimate long-term sustained happiness comes from. It is through giving and not expecting anything in return. And just the idea of gratitude, because I've studied it in research, that there are different types of gratitude. And one of the types of gratitude is that altruistic, if I'm saying it right, is the art of giving.
Mhm.
And that is a state of being grateful, of just giving gifts and giving time or giving love without really having anything in return, needing that exchange, equal exchange. So I
Right.
love that you bring that up because it is in true alignment with the way you live, with your practice of gratitude. So, such a beautiful definition of happiness. I feel like in my own experiences with depression, and I was really turned around with my own struggle of depression for years and decades. Once I started volunteering my time, and well, it was having kids gave me, that purpose to get into a higher vibrational state so I could show up for them and the world. But also, I found it through giving, I found it through volunteering.
Yeah, it's so important. And I feel like, when you teach your girls or you have a son and a daughter, when you
Mhm.
teach your children as a mom or a dad, to give and to always look for something outside of yourself, and not look at who, it's as a teenager, that's really the focus. It's so inward.
Mhm.
And, all the social media and all the stuff that they have now in this life, if you could teach them that, none of that matters. All it matters is what you can give to somebody. I had a rule every day they got out of the car in the morning, that they had to give 5 compliments a day,
Mhm.
and they had to find something. I mean, they wear uniforms, so it wasn't, you can look, maybe she has earrings on, or maybe you overheard that she had a soccer game, and, ask her, tell her, I heard you did really good, or, something. You have to find 5 people. And I wanted to teach them that, because it was, these kids these days, really you see them, like heads are down in their phones. I always say the blinders are on, but I really see kids these days with blinders on, and now masks, like now
Mhm.
they're really covered up. But to be an outward person and be about giving and making them happy. And it's funny because when they started doing it, when they were probably second grade, whenever they could understand that, they would come back and I'd ask them who the 5 people were and what they said and everything. But they would always say they never said anything back. And I said, that's not why you're doing it. So
Mhm.
keep doing it. And I don't care what
Aw.
they say back. But to learn that in life at that age, and to learn about that it's all about giving and making someone happy, you know, that's what gives you that is pure happiness to me.
Wow. And that's really just that's your purpose, I feel like, is just to teach that idea. I mean, and to teach to your kids at such a young age is so empowering. So I want to talk a little bit about how you're, moving forward with your mission and teaching this idea of raising confidence
Yes.
in everyone, right? So, who specifically are you helping with this idea of raising confidence?
Well, it came from, so, I've always, the podcast has been such an amazing outlet of, trying to make an impact. And I'm just like, just being at the age I am and what I've learned and all the things that, I really want to pass along to, I mean, especially the young kids now, because I know if I knew what I know now
Mm.
at 14 or 15, even 12, 11, um, my life could be completely different. My choices would be even knowing your core values. That's one of the things in my raising confidence is, teaching core values and really making your life your decisions in life. When you're aware of your core values, it's so much easier. It's like your GPS system becomes
Yeah,
you.
I think that's so powerful because we all make decisions based on our values, but we're not really aware of them. Even as adults, we're just walking around and our values are so ingrained in us that we don't even realize it. So,
Right.
just that one principle is life changing.
Yeah. And your limiting beliefs, teaching being aware of what what you've learned since you were little, what your parents your programs, everyone has them. Being aware, writing them down, switching them up, and being like that, knowing those triggers, being aware of the triggers that you'd see, but people don't. You could say, oh, my mom always did that and made me feel so inadequate, never made me feel like I could do anything. Okay, change that story. That's just a story. And if you want to keep talking about it, then it's going to continue being your story. But let's
Mhm.
change it, you know? So anyway, raising confidence came from, wanting to teach these kids, which I have a group now that I teach. And it's just a giving. I mean, we call it magic moments. Every day I send them a long text that they have to copy and paste and send it back. We have a magic moment group text with all of us in it, and we have to write our magic moment. So they have to look at it like kind of like the Range Rover thing. Like, what did you see today that you created because you were in such high vibration? Because I teach them how to get high in vibration, get in alignment. And then what was your magic moment? So they all share their magic moments in this group. And it's so fun. Like I saw a rainbow the other day and like, that's my magic moment. Or I took a picture of the sunrise and there was a hummingbird that came in, like froze. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just even, I mean, those little things, even in nature, are magic moments. To
That's
open
so
kids'
true.
eyes like that and to give them, I mean, the raising confidence kind of, it came from, it's kind of a play on words, but I feel like to have confidence right now in this, especially now in this pandemic where these kids have been on their computers since March. I mean, no sports, no social stuff. This is hard. I mean, this is their childhood.
I
You can't
know.
take your childhood back. You can't, there's no do-overs. And, to give these tools to make them think, okay, this is for a reason. Everything's always working for me, not to me, right?
Mhm.
And to look at it and what can I do? Like, even I was laying in bed with Presley last night and I said, I want you to think of something that you want to do. And let's think of 5 things every morning instead of like writing a goal down, we write the goal, but we need to have what the action steps. You can write goals all day long,
Mm.
but if you don't have action behind it, and for teaching them that they can throw, we make our vision boards and, you can look at that all day long and that's great. But to put action behind those words or those pictures and to take action at 12, 14 years old and learn now when you get to, out of high school, when I don't have you anymore and you're making your own decisions, that I trust that I did it my best job to give you those tools. And that's really what raising confidence is teaching these parents to show them that, give these tools and to open their eyes that they can have anything, and to stop looking at their life as victim, maybe would be, like being the victim versus the victor. Everything's teaching them to say, the glass is half full, in life.
Exactly. It's needed more than ever. I mean, especially with all of our kids, like you said, they're very resilient, but at the same time, how are we empowering them and giving them the tools besides just the knowledge, the factual information that's coming through, and most of them are on a computer right now. Our kids need more and more of those positive life skills that
Mhm.
we learn the hard way, I feel like, as
Totally.
parents that were from a different century, right? And a different era. It's just so impactful work that you're doing. And how can the audience get in touch with you or work with you or learn more about all the magic that you have to share?
Oh, they can email me, ashleygonor@gmail.com, anything. I have my Facebook with my name, Ashley Gonor, and then the Instagram. And I have
The podcast,
the
Uncover Your
podcast,
Magic, and I'll
Uncover
leave
Your
all the.
Magic, my favorite thing. But and then the Raising Confidence. I have my free masterclass that's going to be in January, the end of January. And I'm sure we can put it in the show notes. It's in my bio on Instagram. They can, find me and message me and to get information, but it's free. And I just have this in my heart that I want to teach these parents how to instill empowerment and, make these kids just feel like, this time is, this is their childhood. But gosh, to give these tools and, oh, the what you would inspire them to be, and to start dreaming big and know that that no dream is too big, and to put the action behind it and teach them the rituals of gratitude. Huge. Those are gifts that right now, if you look at it as a parent, I tell the kids, like, so today's magic moment group, it was, this is the last day of 2020. Tell me what you accomplished as if it's done. I want to see 5 things. So I write their little dots out, and now they copy and paste, but it's already happened. So you're
Mm.
telling me, and it's 2021, New Year's Eve. So we've already gone a year. What did you accomplish? So they wrote it. Oh, I mean, talk about goosebumps and why I'm doing this and what gives me purpose and what wakes me up at 4 a.m. to get up and do these magic moments with them. I mean, that is like when you're passionate about something. Oh, I do it all day long. I
It's
can't
just
even.
unlimited fuel for you to go out and make a difference.
Oh, I love it.
Just to see that change in these young children's lives, and you're changing generations, I feel like. So, thank you for that, this really, really important skill and magic that you're just sharing with everyone. It's truly a blessing, and I just want to thank you for your time of being here the last day of 2020. This will be airing the beginning of 2021, but it's not too late to get a hold of Ashley and join her masterclass.
Thank you so much. I loved being here. I love talking to, I mean, it's like I've known you forever, and it's been just a blessing, and I'm so grateful, and I'm excited to, watch your journey as we go on, and, see how, amazing things you do, and you make a difference in everything you do. I'm just blessed to know you and have crossed paths, and know that one day you'll come and see your mom, and I'll get to meet you.
Yes, we will join in person in the near future. I have a feeling of that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.